Okay, so Matt here, Mudutu Effect. Here with Steve, with the Witch Hunt Museum. And can you kind of give me a rundown of the overall, what you do?
Well, what my wife and I have done, Vera and I, we've collected on witch hunt persecution materials. Most people know about Salem, but they're not aware that in Germany and Europe, perhaps as many as 500,000 people were killed during the Great Witch Hunts. So we have tracked down artifacts that were used in those, and we have assembled a collection of over 200 pieces, and with the hopes of one day having a brick and mortar museum. So we're an online museum right now where people can see the collection and learn the history of what happened.
Nice. Do you ever tour several cities around Canada and the United States or anything?
We work with museums in the States on other projects. We work with museums leasing artifacts, but this is one thing that some people find very politically incorrect. So we're hoping to eventually one day have a place of our own where people can come and learn from it. And right now, as I said, it's like online, free museum. You can go there and get knowledge. Because for me, and Vera, it's all about spreading the knowledge of what happened so it won't happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. So you hear that practical magic and curio shop up in Saskatoon. You got some space, have him come out, show this off and explain it. So point out some of your favorite pieces.
Sure. Well, the core of the collection basically is objects used by witch hunters and also the interrogators that unfortunately they tortured a lot of confessions out of people because who would admit to being something that they're not?
Yeah.
And in this case in particular, we have a number of the torture instruments that were used: a spiked flail for flogging, a press. This wooden press would be for fingers or toes. They go in between and they tighten the wing nuts until you told them what they wanted to know, or you'd admit to anything after a while.
Right.
But there's other pieces used in the hunting. This box here is actually a witch hunter's kit. And inside was a salt glazed container with a crucifix on the front and a needle. And they dip the needle in holy water and then start piercing areas on a suspected witch's body, like moles or calluses. And if the needle went in and the person didn't scream in pain, obviously the devil was protecting them from pain. They're a witch. Then you go on to the torture and then the execution. So that's a horrific piece. And also this skull. This skull is the skull of an executed criminal. From the 1500s, it's from Austria. Carved in the head are 3 rows of Christian crosses, circles, to represent the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That stopped the evil that was in the evil criminal's bones from escaping. They put it in an iron cage, hand-forged cage, hung it in a courtroom. During witchcraft trials, when you're giving testimony, you touch the skull. Nowadays it's the Bible. Put your hand on the Bible. They made you touch the skull, swear to tell the truth, make an oath to tell the truth. And this was terrorism, because if you look at this, touching the Bible, sure, I managed to tell the truth, but suddenly you have to touch a skull, and you're thinking, oh man, that could be me. And that's what they wanted you to think, right? Tell the truth or else. Or tell what we want you to say or else, right? That's the key. Yeah.
Because a lot of that, from my understanding, I'm no expert on the subject, but it just seemed like they were torturing to the point where they wanted that submission so they could gain or to eliminate a fear factor.
Yeah, like the witch hunts were basically, there were certainly people that believed in witches and demons and forest creatures back then and all sorts of horrific supernatural beings. But the witch hunts themselves were usually a money grab and a property grab. They weren't always going after the old woman in the woods that did herbs and stuff, or the midwife. That's what we're led to believe by a lot of the feminist practitioners that talk about the witch hunts as a purely feminine thing. They went after anybody. Many men were tortured and burnt as witches, children. But it went like this. You've got land I want. You got something I want. You're the local mayor. You're the town treasurer. Well, all of a sudden, you make up a story. So that person dancing in the moonlight, knock at the door, they're arrested, they're taken in, they're tortured. All their property, once you admitted to being a witch, went to the church. So they grew fat on the blood money of the victims,
Or the fabricated victims that they created.
Totally fabricated. And if you think about how many people were actually witches that they wiped out across Europe, if you're lucky, maybe 1% were worshiping pagan deities, but the rest were good Christians. Just people they wanted to settle personal grudges with, or had something that they wanted, that the magistrates wanted.
From what I'm saying, also jealousy.
Big time.
We had some jealousy factors.
Absolutely, big time. And it gets to the point where you got somebody, they pull in a man or a woman, they're torturing you, you're stretched on the rack or whatever the heck it is, and they're asking you all this stuff. Of course, you're eventually going to say, yeah, I'm a witch. Then they're going to keep going and name your accomplices. Name who went to the Sabbat with you and was with the devil. Well, it hurts. You're going to say anything. So fathers named sons, daughters named mothers, and all of a sudden you have whole villages afraid of everybody, and just being wiped out. You name your friends, all your friends are wiped out. Their friends are wiped out. So it was bad, really bad.
So where can they go online?
Yep. We have a website. It's a free online museum where they can see, the full collection of the Witch Hunt Museum, and it's www.witchhuntmuseum.com.
Okay. Now, for right now,
Yep.
to step away, we're at Occulticon. It's been an amazing weekend. So what's your next venture after this?
Well, I'm working on a book right now that has to do with the witch torture that was done, the things they subjected people to. So I should be finished that within the next 6 months. It's going to be self-published. And I should use your platform, if you don't mind me doing that, to mention that really we want a museum. We want a bricks and mortar museum one day of these objects, because they teach a lesson. They teach a lesson of what happens to communities when fear, bigotry, intolerance, rumor, gossip take over. And it's never good. And we're seeing it happen even in our own time today. So we think by having these things in a museum, it reminds people that humans, although technology's progressed, we still have the same traits. So if anybody out there is a big-time investor, if you've got the building, we have got the artifacts, and hopefully we can do something.
Awesome. Spread the word. Spread the love. What does Mudutu stand for? Knowledge. You're a prime example. Let's share the knowledge.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.